Hello, I'm Maria Dillon, a licensed marriage and family therapist in private practice in Malibu and Santa Monica, California. Today, it is my distinct pleasure to interview Dr. Jacob Towery, who will be joining us here on screen now virtually. And he has a very impressive resume. He is adjunct faculty at Stanford University, did his bachelor's at Duke, and attended the University of Virginia School of Medicine. His specialization is working with teenagers and adolescents. He also sees adults. But the reason why we're interviewing him today is about an upcoming workshop that's part of the California Association of Marriage and Family Therapists annual conference, which is in April, at which time Dr. Towery will be a guest speaker and doing a workshop. So Dr. Towery, if you would like to introduce yourself.
Hi, Maria. Thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to this interview. Yeah, everything you said is accurate. Those are the places I have gone. I'm also fortunate to be able to teach on the voluntary faculty at Stanford, which is fun, getting to teach a bunch of residents and psychology graduate students and some therapists in the community. And I enjoy teaching people Team CBT, which is a brand of cognitive behavioral therapy that David Burns developed. And excited to give a talk at CAMFT. I think the title is going to be Mohawks, Swearing, and YouTube, How to Connect with Teenagers Quickly and Effectively, or something along those lines.
It sounds great. Well, I'd like to go ahead and have you tell us a little bit more about what your workshop at the conference will be like.
Sure. So the research is pretty clear that while adults are forgiving in their therapy and they'll give several sessions to decide if they like you and trust you or not, teenagers are less forgiving. And they will decide pretty quickly if you are trustworthy and someone they are willing to work with or not. And so first impressions go a long way, and the ability to connect quickly and effectively with teenagers is paramount if you're going to work with them and you want them to stick as clients. So I'm going to teach audience members a variety of techniques so that they can both be their most authentic selves and also get teenagers to like them and trust them fairly quickly, which will increase the chances of them engaging in therapy and being willing to open up about a wide variety of topics. So that's the goal of the workshop.
Well, that engagement thing is a really important aspect of meeting the client and getting them to come back. Who do you think should attend this workshop?
I'm very selective. I think people should only attend this workshop if they work with teenagers or adults or both. Okay. So not for robots. This is not for people that are retired and refuse to work with people. But if you're a therapist who works with humans, this might be a good workshop for you if you enjoy connecting with clients and you want to be able to do so effectively and quickly.
Okay, so therefore it's not just for therapists who are working with teenagers and adolescents, but your work affects all of us working with any age group. Yes,
I think it is particularly important for those of us who work with teenagers to be able to get our clients to like us and trust us quickly, but it's a useful skill set for anybody who works with clients to get them to trust us and open up quickly and know what the rules of the game are early on.
Well, sometimes you have someone referred to you, I'm sure, who does not want to be there, but is kind of being forced to be there by their family or by a school. Can you tell us a little bit about what your techniques are to overcome that?
Yes. I'm fairly willing to meet with teenagers who are ambivalent about working with me for an assessment. But even then, I even won't meet with teenagers if they tell me they don't want to meet with me. I require an introductory free phone session before I'll meet with people in person, because if a teenager doesn't want to even meet with me, I'll say, let's not waste our time. I don't want any parents to waste their time or money and come see me if I won't help them. So even to get into my office, the teenager has to be at least open to the idea of working with me. And then I have a fairly thorough intake process because I like to really get to know my clients and families quite well. So for my teenagers, it's 4 total hours of assessment involving them and their parents. And I tell them at the very beginning of our first session that the only way we will work together for treatment is if at the end of the 4 hours, they enthusiastically want to work with me for treatment. And if for any reason at all they don't want to work with me, I will not work with them. And I say something along the lines of, even if your parents try to beg me, bribe me, pressure me, cajole me, coerce me into working with you, I will not work with you unless you enthusiastically want to work with me. And there are 2 things about that that I like. One is that paradoxically, a lot of teenagers, when there's no pressure for them to work with me, they're then more enthusiastic about working with me. And they know that they have power going into the relationship. And the other thing is, I'm really big on consent. I think consent is important in a wide variety of domains, but including in therapy. So I'm giving them the message right off the bat, hey, let's be consensual about this. If you don't want to work with me, I'm not going to work with you. Let's only work together if we're both interested and want to do it. And I would say about 95% of the teenagers that I meet that make it into my office end up wanting to work with me, and I'm happy to work with them. So there's a bit of paradox there, but I found it helpful.
Well, I can tell certainly that you have many golden nuggets that would be so beneficial for any therapist to learn in your workshop. I can't help but notice you have a mohawk, and can you tell the story of you having it?
Sure. You're right. I do. I am supposed to pause. Okay, I'll try the pausing for answer. Okay. Yes, Maria, you're right. I do have a mohawk. So for years, I did not have a mohawk, but I saw other people with mohawks, including some friends and acquaintances, and I coveted their mohawks, and I enthusiastically wished to have a mohawk myself. But I remember having thoughts that were along the lines of, there's no way I could get away with having a mohawk. I am on the adjunct faculty at Stanford. I'm a physician. Everyone would fire me. People at Stanford would be outraged and say I ought to step down. This is just inappropriate and outrageous. So, and parents won't want to send their children to me. They'll think I am some radical who's untrustworthy and incompetent. So I remember thinking, well, maybe when I retire, when I retire, maybe then I could kind of get away with having a mohawk. So for years, that was the set of delusions that I labored under, and my rationalizations and justifications for not getting a mohawk, despite my desires to. And then my 6-year-old son actually changed everything, because his elementary school was having this thing called Crazy Hair Day. And I remember there was this day where he said, Daddy, could I get a mohawk for Crazy Hair Day? And I said, sure. I don't actually know what I'm doing at all. I've never given anyone a haircut, but I have this beard trimmer that I use for my beard. And if you want, I could like shave the sides of your head off and give you my version of a mohawk. And he said, sure. So that night he got in the bathtub. I did my amateur hacking job of getting off the sides of his hair. And he had a mohawk, and I thought it looked really cool. And the next day he went to school with this mohawk, and I used stuff in his hair to make it stand up. And he had this cool necklace that a female friend of his had gotten him from Hawaii, and it looked really awesome. And he was like beaming ear to ear. And he ended up winning an award at his school for like craziest hair that day. And I saw him and I thought, you know, if my 6-year-old son can rock a mohawk and do it, like, I think I could pull it off. You know what? Let me at least be brave and try it. And the next day I was already scheduled to get my haircut anyway. So I asked my stylist, Julieta, if she could give me a mohawk. And she said, sure. She hadn't done it in ages, but she did. And then I loved it. And my son and I had matching mohawks. Within a week, he was totally sick of his and mortified by having it and wanted to regrow his hair out. But I really liked it. So I've kept it ever since then. So that's the origin of the mohawk.
Well, I imagine that the young people who come in to see you have a surprised reaction to it. Or you're Mr. Cool because you have it.
I think I am definitely more cool as a result of having it. I certainly have a geeky side when I talk about fantasy novels or technology that can come out, and maybe the mohawk helps balance out that geeky side. And sometimes they are surprised. The ones who have Googled me and checked out my pictures online are often less surprised, and some are a bit shocked when they come and see the mohawk. So it's kind of fun seeing the range of reactions.
I did notice on your website that you have 2 pictures, one with the mohawk and one without. So that might help with the parents who are looking at it and to see you without it. Now, a little bit change of topic here, but there are some MFT and other mental health professionals that don't work with teenagers, and we touched upon this a little bit earlier on. Should they come to your workshop?
I would say I am a completely neutral and objective person to answer this question. And as a totally neutral observer with no skin in the game, I would say, yes, Maria, they should come to my workshop, even if they only see adults, because they can learn strategies for more effectively connecting with their clients and deepening that relationship and strengthening that therapeutic alliance, even if they don't work with teenagers. And you're getting a totally unbiased, neutral opinion on that topic.
Why do I have the feeling that your workshop will not be boring?
You are right. Your intuition is good. I think there are a lot of adjectives that are used to describe me, but boring is rarely one of them.
Well, I am looking at the time. I'm not sure how much time we're allowed here today to go on with the interview, and maybe Eileen will help us out with this. But I am absolutely thrilled that you're going to be at our annual conference in San Francisco, and you have a lunch speaking engagement there, which will be a workshop. And as you said at the beginning, you thought the title was, I'll read the title as it shows up. Okay. Our brochure, it says, Mohawks, Swearing, and YouTube, How to Get Teenagers to Like You and Trust You Immediately.
I like that even better.
Well, I love the title, and I look forward very much to seeing you in San Francisco in April.
Thank you, Maria. I appreciate the interview, and I look forward to meeting you in person.
Likewise.